People will get us eventually. Twitch hasn't started playing yet in my browser, but I'm sure it will. Probably.
There it
Okay,
goes.
it just kicked in. Okay, now we
Yay!
should be live. So, hello everybody. We kind of decided to do this last minute. We're doing a kind of a roundtable discussion about. Shut up, Twitch. Stop yelling at me. I'm hearing myself from 3 different places. This is awful. I'm hearing sound. Where am I hearing sound from?
Mission Impossible is the best movie of the summer.
This is awful.
Well, make sure you mute your Twitch stream.
I did it. I muted it. I'm still hearing myself. Where am I
OBS
hearing
cracks?
myself from?
That too.
I'm hearing sound. Where am I hearing sound from? Where's my stream coming from? What's happening? This is awful.
You might have multiple browsers open or something.
Oh, it was the embed on Blizzard Watch.
That'll do it.
Okay. Did I break anything by doing this?
Your ears, hopefully?
Oh, well, everybody can now see I'm doing this in like a really jacked up method where I'm just streaming YouTube.
Oh, that's alright. I mean, it works. You can't knock it if it works.
Okay, as I was saying, we decided to do this last minute. I'm sure you can't tell at all. We're just going to have a little roundtable discussion about what was announced at Gamescom and all that kind of thing. Somebody asked, oh, I'm confused by watching Mission Impossible or Overwatch. You were probably hearing a Mission Impossible advertisement from my stream. So, I think we can start. We're going to talk about StarCraft first. Liz, what was the StarCraft thing? I wasn't...
Maybe we should introduce everyone here first.
Oh, I forgot to do that. I'm so used to the podcast.
This is not our usual podcast.
Right, it's always the same people. So, okay, I mentioned Liz Harper. She's our managing editor, who I often cite as my partner in crime.
And, of course, Alex is Alex.
Yes, I'm me. People should know who I am by now, I hope. I think.
Except we're getting you confused with Adam.
Yes, we have Matt Lowe, who you're probably also familiar with if you look at any of our Hearthstone stuff. Say hello, Matt.
Hello.
Maticus does pretty much all of our Hearthstone stuff, except where I decide to stick my nose where it doesn't belong.
I feel like Alex activated the reserves for this last minute call up. He just called us up.
Blame Liz for this. This was entirely her idea.
This was my terrible idea, yes, and I regret it already.
We have Anna, who does a lot of our pet stuff. She's also big into doing our hero stuff. Hello, Anna.
Hello.
We have, he makes us call him Mitch, because he's a weirdo, but Michael Mitchell, who does our Shadow Priest stuff. Hello, Mitch.
Howdy. Play a Shadow Priest, kids.
Of course. So, that's everybody, I think. I didn't miss anybody, did I?
No.
I don't even know who I called anymore. Okay. That's all of us. Okay, Liz, talk about StarCraft.
So StarCraft, there's a new game mode called Allied Commanders coming to Legacy of the Void, which is due out sometime this year. We don't know exactly when, or at least I don't know exactly when. And it's just a cooperative game mode that's new, and it sounds kind of cool, though my interest in StarCraft is pretty low overall.
Yeah, that's kind of my thing. I used to be really big into StarCraft when I was a kid, like the original StarCraft and Brood War.
Oh, yeah.
I loved playing that. I was bad at it because I was a kid, and all I did was Zealot Rush, and I pronounced it Zealot because what did I know? But StarCraft 2, I watched esports for a while, StarCraft 2 tournaments. It was fun to watch, but playing it, I haven't really followed it. Anybody else?
I played the storyline. If there's new story from these, I'll play it.
Oh yeah,
And it
like
looks...
I've played the single player campaigns, but there's a lot. StarCraft 2 is very much the multiplayer aspect, and I don't really get into that.
Yeah, this seems like a nice little bridge between playing with, or like just a new format entirely, though, like aside from the whole build and destroy, or doing your custom maps like turret defense, whatever it is in StarCraft 2 now.
Yeah.
So it's kind of an interesting new feature, I suppose. It's, well, hopefully they'll be able to add more stuff to it in the future. But
I do like co-op modes. They're usually more fun for me than trying to win because I'm usually bad and it drives me insane.
Yeah, I've been trying to think. This Allied Commander thing, wasn't it in StarCraft where you could do multiplayer and play on a team and control the same base?
the original?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there was a game mode in the old StarCraft 1. and you could have two players control one faction, one army, or one player army, or whatever it was. So you could have one person control any unit, and the other person could control like the resources or whatever, and micromanage, minerals, gas, and that type of thing. But this, though, I'm not sure if there's a limit on this one.
I'm gonna admit that I've been so interested in StarCraft lately. I didn't look at this very much.
Right.
Just the co-op portion just reminded me of. I think me and a buddy used to play co-op through that way. So, yeah, I don't know. It was kind of a strange game mode before you control the same base. You're kind of competing for your own minerals and so forth.
Yeah, this
Right,
sounds a
right.
little more organized than that. Like you each play a different sort of commander hero person.
Right.
Yeah, this isn't
like
the same
each-
thing as the Archon mode, right? That's different.
This is how much
I-
we know about StarCraft.
Yeah, yeah.
We're flailing here.
I think this is its own thing.
Okay.
Maybe we should
think.
move on to not StarCraft so we stop looking like idiots.
Well, I think we've probably run through all of our StarCraft opinions at this point.
Yeah. So what's next on our list, Liz? You made the list.
I made the list, and it's in another tab. Okay, Overwatch, which didn't have a lot announced. We had a new hero announced. Well, I guess it did have a lot announced, but we didn't get a lot of detail on it. We had a new hero and 2 new maps, which we got a couple of trailers from, but I think mostly they said, hey, here's new stuff, and we're going to tell you more at BlizzCon, which isn't a lot to work with.
We got it on the launcher. That's something.
Yeah,
That's
true.
true. And I've
I
been
mean-
clicking on it constantly, just hoping that play button will appear.
Yep.
I think everyone has.
Here, I'm afraid to say this character's name because I don't know how to say it. Lucio? Lucio?
I would say it Lucio, but I'm probably butchering it. I've never heard it actually spoken aloud.
Right, that's the problem. I know I think it's a Portuguese name rather than a Spanish
Well,
name,
yeah,
but I don't
he's
know what difference that
Brazilian.
makes.
Yeah,
So it would be-
Brazilian, so it would be Portuguese, despite the fact that his accent is very not Brazilian.
Well, Portuguese and Spanish are both big in Brazil, I think. And I actually read a comment on the Overwatch subreddit that somebody from Brazil was very happy he had a Portuguese name because a lot of characters in games that are from Brazil have Spanish names.
Hmm.
So that was kind of cool just to read that somebody appreciated that.
Yeah, Overwatch has been big into like diverse heroes with like different backgrounds and different origins, and they're all from different places and they have different body types, and yeah,
Different hairstyles.
different hairstyles if you want to go into
Let's
that.
not get into hair right now.
He's got pencil hair. It's,
Floppy pencil hair. Yes, that's what it is. He's kind of a cool hero. He seems like a blend of like modern EDM and dubstep kind of stuff that you see in games, like Saints Row's jokey dubstep gun. Like I loved using that thing. But he also very much reminds me of a character from Jet Set Radio, which is a game series that it's kind of. I don't think it ever had huge sales, but it was a cult classic. The people who played it really loved it. And it seems like he pulls a lot from that. The rollerblades and grinding on walls and so forth is very much a Jet Set Radio thing.
For me, though, his all of his abilities and stuff like that seem like they pull very closely from League of Legends Sona,
Yeah,
who recently
DJ
got
Sona.
the DJ Sona skin as well. And it seems kind of because well, the mechanic with Sona is that she'll play different songs and she'll play like an offensive song and it'll do, bolts out into space or whatever. And then she'll play the movement song and then everyone around her moves more quickly, or she'll play the healing song. And it seems like Lucio has something very similar going on where he'll play his healing song and the people, but it's more themed to the whole dubstep kind of thing instead of Sona has her harp. Unless
what
she's
I was-
DJ Sona.
What I was curious about was, I know one of the big things they've had with Overwatch is not including a sprint of any kind and having the movement kind of define some of the players. I couldn't tell from the video. Is he like faster because he's on the future rollerblades, or is that just more of a art direction thing?
I'm not sure if he's actually faster, but he does have. It said somewhere that he has like a movement song or movement,
He has a
whatever
speed zone.
gun thing.
He can also like rollerblade on the sides of walls, which looks really cool, kind of like Titanfall-ish. And I think that was in the game you were talking about, Alex.
Yeah, Jet Set Radio. It's because Jet Set Radio, you're playing characters on rollerblades. So, I mean, I think there's any game where you have rollerblades is going to have a comparison to that. I'm actually trying to look him up on the Overwatch site because if he has a special movement thing, it'll probably say. I would think.
I would hope
I'd be
so.
surprised if he doesn't, but because it seems like that would be a really good opportunity with that character to make him move a little faster.
I'm not sure if it does, but I know every character has something with the shift key. I think Soldier 76, it is just a sprint because he's just the soldier guy. But for Widowmaker, I think that's her grappling hook. For Tracer, I think it's her blink. So he has something, I just don't know what it is.
He skates super fast.
Well, yeah, that's pretty obvious from his trailer. He feels just kind of like a classic bard to me, and he doesn't feel that interesting. I mean, he's like
He
flashy,
is.
but it's like he's
like
a
a modern
bard on
bard.
roller skates. He's a bard on roller skates. It just seems so
I
ridiculous.
think
mean,
that's okay, though.
there are a lot of ridiculous characters in Overwatch that seem like ridiculous cool, and to me, Lucio just seems kind of ridiculous. It's could just be me. I don't know.
I mean,
He's kind of Kid's Bop version of a bard, I think.
Yeah.
one of the first characters they revealed was Winston, and I'm sorry, nothing is more ridiculous to me than the whole talking gorilla thing in comics and all that. Like, talking gorillas, they're stupid. I'm sorry. I can't do it.
Okay, well, I can love Winston, and you can love Lucio, and we can agree to disagree on this.
Yeah, like I'm a big fan of a lot of the stuff I've seen out of Overwatch so far. I mean, even Soldier 76 kind of won me over, even though he's so terribly like vanilla and boring. But Winston's like talking monkeys. No.
Yeah, but he's got glasses. The glasses bring it together.
And a suit.
It's like Grodd is the least intimidating comic villain ever. He's just a monkey.
He's a really smart monkey.
I mean, okay, this is getting off topic, but I watched Justice League Unlimited recently, and Grodd's master plan in Justice League Unlimited was to turn everybody into a monkey. Like, not change anything else. Like, Superman would just be Super Monkey. That's not
But
a
he'd still
villainous
have like
plot.
super strength and stuff.
Yeah, he was just turning people into
That's-
monkeys.
That would be kind of cool though, because then you'd have like the prehensile tail and all that, and you could go like swinging around.
Well, you'd be a gorilla, so you don't have a tail.
Oh, well,
You
that's
just
disappointing.
you just have like a tiny butt and a huge broad chest.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah. So there's Lucio and the two new maps that I'm streaming, so I don't have any of the stuff open in my browser, even though I should. Numbani, which is like a futuristic high-tech city in Africa, which I actually quite appreciate because I don't think they do that often. Even isn't it? It's Marvel who has. Liz, do you know this?
Black Panther? Is
Black
that who
Panther.
we're thinking of?
Yes.
And Wakanda.
Wakanda. Like they have that, but I admittedly haven't seen a lot of stuff with Wakanda, but I don't think it's high tech, is it? Like they didn't really do that with it. They just have
Wakanda is pretty high tech.
Is it?
But this is a branch of Marvel that I'm like just sort of familiar with, not super familiar. I thought Wakanda was kind of had a tech vibe.
Okay, because I know vibranium comes from there, like Captain
Right.
America's shield, but it's Numbani has like they've only released, well, they did release the gameplay trailer later in the day, but
Yeah.
last week they did the teaser with the kind of like the tourism
Just
art
images,
thing.
yeah.
And it's just these really futuristic towers and like androids walking around and dancing and so forth. And it actually looks really cool. I'm excited to see it. The other one.
Yeah, it also.
Go ahead.
Numbani is also it's one of the payload maps, and the other one I don't know how to pronounce is point capture. So there's now 3 of each type of game mode, but no new game mode yet.
Is it Volskaya, the Russian one?
Yeah, Volskaya. That's the point capture.
Yeah, that one's a little bit less interesting to me because it's Volskaya Industries, so it's like an industrial sector in Russia. Like it's
But
But there's a
power plant or
giant
something.
robot.
Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
like there's a giant mech being built in the background or something.
How can you not be interested in a giant robot?
Well, I mean, if we're looking at Robot City versus One Robot, I'll take the Robot City. That
It is true.
impresses me more.
Bonnie looks pretty awesome.
So yeah, I'm pretty stoked, and just because it's on the launcher now, I've been excited for beta the whole time, but now I really want to get my hands on it.
So
Well,
then,
it's not in Friends and Family yet, is it?
no,
I have no idea.
yet. I don't think it's available for the public, like friends and family, just yet. It's still internal mostly. I
They
do know
are.
that. It said what, fall 2015 for the beta?
Yeah.
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 They do have a playable demo at Gamescom right now, so
Let
yay
me-
for people at
Let me see if I
Gamescom,
can
which is not us.
Skip through this and get the map one to play. Yes. Okay. So people who are watching, that video is playing on the stream now, so they'll be able to see these maps.
Yeah, it's a great, awesome expansion cinematic that we have going on here.
Yeah. Do you guys like my make a YouTube playlist and stream YouTube instead of doing anything fancy like downloading the B-reel or whatever?
Hey, it works.
No sizzle reels here. Just streaming YouTube to Twitch, which
Yeah.
then I can then export to YouTube so people can watch it later.
And
It's
the sky
functional.
does it? Do you think there's gonna be like a Jaeger on that map or something?
I mean, it looks like it. There's that. They've got the giant robot thing.
Right.
I don't know.
Someone in chat was also asking about Overwatch on the BattleNet. I think it was added for everyone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it appeared. It
Okay.
just appeared there. I think they just added the icon to the launcher.
Was it just
Yeah.
mostly for hype, or do we think it's actually means something's going to start soon?
Well, I mean, they're
It's prob-
clearly laying the groundwork for a beta eventually, but you can't say when that eventually is going to be, really.
Right. I think it's just prep work. Like
Yeah.
I don't think adding an icon there is the most effective way to hype. I mean, it is to the people who are already planning to play Overwatch, but putting an icon in BattleNet is not some big marketing move.
It's a pretty low hype level unless you're already super aware and plugged into the Blizzard world.
Right.
Like an axe in a taxi cab in Times Square is hype, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
An icon? Probably not so much.
It might also just be a way of delivering these Overwatch news updates to the BattleNet launcher.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the table flip.
Like if
yeah, the table flip.
yeah, I mean right, the table flip error. People who are have BattleNet open all the time, which is pretty much everybody who plays a Blizzard game, whether it's WoW or Heroes or Hearthstone. That launcher's open. Now that the Overwatch button is there, you could go click like, oh, I want to see the latest Hearthstone news, and you can click on that icon and see it.
Yeah.
So that might be all it is.
Yeah, I really think they're just kind of laying the groundwork for eventually this is going to be playable, but it's not playable yet. And also, if we're looking at a fall beta, then we're pretty close to fall.
Yeah, and I think I say this with other games. When other than WoW expansions, which go into beta really early, their recent releases, when they hit beta, it almost feels like they're ready for retail. I mean, they play good. They still do some tuning, but they never feel busted. Like Heroes
Yeah,
of the
even-
Storm, it felt like something that could launch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's what I was about to say. Even back in Alpha, Heroes was pretty tuned, but once it was in beta, it was pretty much just early access to the game.
Yeah, Hearthstone is very much the same. It felt like a good, solid, playable game when it hit beta, and I think it says a lot that when they released Hearthstone, they didn't make it a big thing. They just went one day like, okay, Hearthstone is live. Like, oh,
We flipped a switch.
all right. So their World of Warcraft betas are very different than the rest of their betas. WoW betas are very early, very buggy, very busted. Their actual full games are like, this feels like a finished product.
And WoW betas, we also see like the PTR process. We see everything really early, so
Yeah, and I'm not saying I necessarily prefer one over the other. It's just that Overwatch already, it looks like something the public could play.
Is the beta? It's not public, is it? It's going to be closed to start, right?
Overwatch?
yeah. Usually they start with a closed beta and they just kind of gradually invite more and more people until it's not very closed.
Yeah, it hits like open beta in the last 2 or 3 weeks before it goes live, right? Like that's kind of the process they did with Heroes this past
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
It's just don't the icons don't normally appear unless you actually have access to something, right? Like this just seems
Right.
odd.
Yeah, it's definitely premature for sure, isn't it?
The
No.
icons are there no matter whether you own the game, you don't own the game. So like I don't own StarCraft 2, but I have a StarCraft 2 icon in my launcher.
And there's
And if if I click there, I get like StarCraft news, and I get try it for free because you
Right.
can try it for free.
There's usually a free method to play almost all of Blizzard's games, so they just put it there because you can
Yeah.
play it even if you pay nothing, even if it's not the full game.
Even if you don't have the
StarCraft 2.
client installed. If you don't have the client installed, the launcher is like a way to install the client.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's Overwatch. Heroes of the Storm. I overslept and I missed a lot of this. So well, okay.
I know, it was supposed to start
Well-
on Thursday, and it's Wednesday. What's
Well,
the
their
deal?
press event was this morning, like their private press
Yeah.
thing. So here's the funny story of my oversleeping. I had planned to just because it was at 5 a.m. Central. This
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
So last night around 1 a.m. I was like, I'm still working on things. I'm just gonna stay up. I'll just be awake until that, and then maybe I'll sleep later. And 2 o'clock rolled around. I was like, well, I can get a few hours. I'll be okay. So I set my alarm for about 5, and I slept right through it. And I just kept sleeping through it. And finally, my girlfriend, who was about to go to work, she turns around. Because I was sleeping on the couch, just taking a nap. She turns around and she wakes me up. She's like, "Did you need to be awake for something? Your alarm's been going off for an hour and a half."
Oh wow.
Like, okay, it's my bad if I don't wake up. That's totally my responsibility to wake myself up. But if my alarm's been going off that long, I probably did need to be awake.
Who knows? Maybe you accidentally set an alarm for 5 a.m.
But yeah, so I overslept and I showed up at like 6:30, and had to catch up at everything. So somebody fill me in on heroes. I know there's a monk.
Yeah.
Alright,
So, do you
Go
want
for
to
it,
go, Liz?
Mitch.
Okay.
Go.
Yeah, so I can't remember what was announced in what order, but they've announced the monk is going to be the next hero that's coming. The big thing with the monk is that you pick the trait at level 1. So instead of having one set trait, I think you pick if you want to be, you know how in monks in WoW can pick, or in Diablo I guess, can pick between different roles. The trait kind of impacts the playstyle through the rest of the game. They also announced, I think after that is Rexar, who is a ranged warrior, which I don't think we've had yet, which is pretty interesting. And then Artanis is coming after Rexar, and they really didn't release much information about Artanis. But if you purchase Legacy of the Void, or if you pre-purchase it or whatever, he comes free in Heroes instead of paying for him. And they also announced a new map. And they're going to be announcing another hero on Friday, apparently. So lots of Heroes news.
Wow.
So many things.
And a whole bunch of skins and mounts and all kinds of stuff. I am hyped for the Treasure Goblin.
The Treasure Goblin mount. I saw that.
It's
It's the most
ridiculous.
ridiculous thing.
It's the Heroes is full of ridiculous things, and I do think that may be the most ridiculous. Like seeing your
Oh, I
amazing
can't wait to see Bikini
Heroes
Stitches.
character.
Bikini Stitches on the Goblin.
Bikini
no.
Stitches on the Treasure
No,
Goblin.
Bikini Stitches should just not exist. I want him wiped from my memory because no. But
Yeah,
just I think any hero like riding around on top of a tiny treasure goblin is inherently
It looks
ridiculous.
It looks like
It's-
he's basically giving the heroes a piggyback ride, isn't he?
Yes.
But
But,
he's,
like,
he's
over
still
the
carrying
bag of
his
gold.
treasure. So
Yeah.
he's sitting on the treasure, which is on his back.
Or
So
maybe the hero
are-
is the treasure.
Yeah, maybe so.
Aw, that's so sweet. But I play Sergeant Hammer a lot, so I'm very excited that we finally get a Sergeant Hammer skin that's not like it's
Yeah,
a
they're so
tank. It's
boring.
another colored tank. It's a different colored tank. Because there's a WoW. It's kind of WoW themed for like the Horde, which kind of surprised me because I thought we would be definitely getting like the Dwarven Siege engine tank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But either way, it's a nice change of pace.
Maybe that's next.
Maybe.
Yeah, the official announcements were all the things I said, but like I don't think they have official images for all the skins. But there's a
Not
gallery
yet.
up, and they look really impressive. I'm excited actually. The Frostlord Rexar is really cool, and I think the Paladin set, it's the tier 2 from WoW. There's a set
Judgment,
for
yeah.
it's the Judgment set for Uther, and it has a mount that matches,
Yeah.
which I think a lot of players are going to go for.
Did we
Yeah,
s-
well, you see
did we see any
everyone in WoW
gameplay?
wearing that.
gameplay
I think-
of like Rexar, for example?
There,
There's some
Heroes
leaked.
Nexus had some.
There's some leaked images, but I don't think we saw anything official.
I'm really curious how, if Rexar's with Misha, how
Yeah.
that's gonna work.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he actually, I was watching one of the unofficial videos. He has Misha can charge, and it looks like Misha will charge behind the enemy. So if you have a way, you can kind of pin the enemy heroes between Rexar and Misha using the charge, which is great for body blocking. There's I think his auto attack is ranged. There's a heal if Misha is close enough. You can call Misha back to you, I think is his trait. And then he has two different ultimates. One is Bestial Wrath, which I'm assuming just like enrages him and Misha.
Right.
And then another one kind of looks like, I forget what the hunter ability is. It sends pets out. I think he sends boars out. They
Is
look
it
like guinea pigs to me.
Stampede?
Stampede.
I don't know.
He-
It's basically the Stampede equivalent. Yeah.
Yeah, he had that in the Warcraft 3 campaign he's in, and it just filled the screen with beasts, and that was a lot of fun.
Oh, his Q is a skill shot. Is actually, I don't know if his auto attack is ranged, but his Q is a skill shot.
Okay. I was kind of...
Why is there no Huffer in this? Why is it just Misha? Why is only one of the pets represented here?
Nobody cares about Huffer. You Hearthstone scrub.
I know. I want a Huffer. It makes more sense because Huffer has charge.
You could probably name one of the piggies in the Stampede. You could point it out
Oh,
and
that's
say,
true.
that one's Suffer.
That's true.
yeah,
Misha is his iconic pet, so...
Yeah. He's interesting though because I don't think we've had any kind of ranged warrior yet. So
No.
it
I
almost
think so.
it feels more like you're playing Misha with Rexar just kind of hanging out than you're playing Rexar.
Yeah. I was
know
kind of
what?
wondering if it would be like a Lost Vikings kind of situation where you're multitasking.
Ugh.
I haven't even played Lost Vikings. That sounds scary.
I tried Lost Vikings once and I tried to do the thing where you split up into 3 lanes and I was not good enough at micromanaging and it was just a mess.
And I don't know if this is true. It's kind of a dubious claim, but I was reading on the Heroes of the Storm subreddit that Blizzard might have said they're never actually going to have Lost Vikings be free again. I don't know if that's something they actually said or if that's speculation. I don't know.
Well,
if
they
it's anything
certainly
like Abathur,
they certainly have a habit of making free heroes be heroes that are fairly easy to play, or mid-range to play. They don't seem to go for the really complicated heroes because if you're just getting into the game, the free-to-play heroes are the weekly free heroes are the only heroes you have access to. So they tend to go for accessible heroes that are
Lost
easy to
Vikings
pick up.
seems quite complex, even if
Yeah.
they put it at that level 15
cap.
where you get even that seems
Yeah.
like if someone's playing Lost Vikings for the very first time and they've never ever done it before, the other 4 people on their team in that match are going to have a bad time.
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
it's Abathur is I'd almost say easier, and he hasn't been on free rotation since December, so I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't do Vikings because I didn't like them. They were tough.
Yeah, I've never even tried. So and then Artanis is
Yeah,
with
he's
Legacy
the
Warrior.
first StarCraft warrior, which is pretty cool for people who like to overlap their dailies. They didn't really release much info. The BattleNet page says he's a heavy hitter, though. So
I have to
picturing
admit I
something
forgot
like
who he
Ulrich.
is.
He's a Protoss. That's the long and short of my information.
Yeah.
I just
Praetor, was it? I think that was his rank or title or whatever the heck it was.
like
But,
I remember a lot of Protoss guys. And I mean,
Yeah.
obviously there's Tassadar and Zeratul who are already in game. There's Selendis, who was like the only Protoss lady other than what's her name, Rashagal from the first.
Razagal, yeah.
Yeah.
He was
So-
the Dark Templar
Yes.
matriarch. Yeah.
And Phoenix, who I think has died about 10,000 times. I don't really remember.
He died once as a zealot, came back, reborn as a dragoon, and then died again.
Yeah. So Artanis, like I know the name, I just can't. I don't remember what he did, what he was. No idea.
He was all I vaguely remember was that he was a scout pilot back in StarCraft and Brood
Oh,
War.
that's probably why I don't remember because Scouts
Yeah.
are stupid.
Yeah, well, it's like a hero unit or whatever. So that's why I'm like confused. Well, why is he a warrior here? Like, why wouldn't they open up with something like I mean, Phoenix would have made sense because at least he was an actual zealot in StarCraft One.
Yeah, well,
and
maybe Artanis
like,
does something else in Legacy of the Void. Maybe he's
Yeah,
actually
maybe.
because
Yeah,
if
well,
you're
he's actually addressed in the Allied Commanders presser.
Oh.
He's one of the 3 characters that you can command or whatever.
oh, okay.
And apparently he harnesses defensive and offensive Spear of Idun abilities,
Ooh.
Okay.
which I have no idea
What's that
that is like gibberish to me because
So-
I don't play any
so
kind of
what-
StarCraft.
It
but
sounds really fancy, though, right?
It's
Yeah.
Protoss sparkly blue magic.
it clearly says defensive, so it makes sense that he's a warrior.
Yeah, so
Let's
so
go with
he's
that.
not just a throwaway scout anymore. The Allied
Maybe-
Commanders preview trailer just came up on the stream, so maybe I can actually see him in this and know what the hell he is.
It's not much of a trailer, really.
Well,
I mean, it,
yeah.
Like a teaser,
Yeah.
perhaps.
yeah.
I mean, I
it's a
can
real
see his
teaser.
Protoss blue sparkle magic, so that'll give
Yay,
me some
blue
idea.
sparkle magic. It really seems like they're working to tie. I mean, they're tying heroes into the other releases, you know. So it's like, oh, we're gonna have Legacy of the Void
Yeah.
soon, so we need to buff up our Protoss heroes. And I'm really wondering if the next big. I mean, they've been doing a big Diablo push right now, but I wonder if the next big push is going to be StarCraft because
Yeah,
it's
if I
kind of-
recall from last BlizzCon, the Spear of Idun is actually like, isn't that the mothership that they flee their planet on because it's dead or something?
The Spear of Idun is, I believe, what's called an arc ship, and it's the flagship
Yes.
of Artanis in the war against something. I'm trying to channel the StarCraft version of Anne right now in terms of StarCraft lore, but I'm not doing a good job of it. So I'm just trying to pull up what I can really quick from the back of my head. So correct me if someone in the channel wants to correct me if I'm wrong about this, but
I just looked at
it's
the
basically
channel.
his flagship.
I just looked at the channel and they're telling me it is their spaceship, and Doctor
Yeah.
of Lore says they don't check the chat, do they? I do,
Oh, I
just
have it
not
open,
when I'm
actually.
trying to hold a conversation with 400 people.
But yeah, so the Spear is a really, really big ship, and apparently it houses the entire Protoss civilization, or whatever's left of it. And it stores like copious amounts of carriers and motherships within its hangars, so it could actually wipe out a civilization on its own. But you know, that's a really, I don't know, it's a really large ship. I'm just kind of, I can't even grasp the logistics of holding all that stuff inside of it. So,
I mean, that's
plus it can destroy planets, by the way.
that's
You know,
by the way.
just
Well,
to throw that out there.
that seems like a pretty big advantage if you can
Yeah.
control that and you're in Heroes of the Storm and you're just okay. I'm gonna blow up the whole map now. Is that gonna be a thing?
And it can cloak. It can cloak.
I think I've mentioned on the podcast before that I have a hard time getting into a lot of sci-fi. I don't know. I can't explain it. Just sci-fi doesn't really do it for me, except the sci-fi that uses that immense scale. Like Dead Space has like the ships that can just dismantle a planet and take all of its resources, like the planet crackers. That something that immense in sci-fi that planets are just rocks now. They're just pebbles to be dismantled and recycled. Like that is really cool to me. So
So you don't do sci-fi unless it's got stuff that can blow up planets.
yeah,
Got it.
yeah. Like Star Trek has never done it for me.
Star Wars, however.
Not so much. When I was a kid, yes. Now, no. But that's probably because I think that's when you like Star Wars, is when you're a kid. And after that point, it's just nostalgia for when you were a kid.
So much nostalgia.
This guy's our editor. He's not a fan of Star Wars.
I said I liked it when I was a kid. I haven't watched Star Wars since I was a kid.
Killing me, boss. Killing me.
You don't know anything, Matt.
I know, I don't. It's easy for me to say.
Oh, shall we move
I mean,
on
we're,
to
we're in
Hearthstone?
we're in work chat, and Matt's like, "What's Jurassic Park? What's Back to the Future? I've never heard of this. What's a Nutter Butter?"
Well, okay, the Nutter Butter part, like, that's a regional thing.
Inexcusable. All right, Liz, where are we going next?
Well, Hearthstone is the last thing on the list. Hearthstone's the last thing they've, and it should give Maticus an opportunity to actually be the expert on things.
Now that I've talked crap about you, Matt, please take the floor.
Oh,
Matt knows
okay.
nothing.
That's true. So, let's talk about Hearthstone. Massive reveal today. I guess we'll go over some of the features first. One, they're completely revamping rank play, which means that for every rank you earn in the ladder, your rewards will go up, based on how well you do. So similar to the arena rewards that are in the game right now. Unfortunately, those rewards cap out at rank 5. So even if you hit Legend, you still get the same rewards that you would have gotten at rank 5. So this could be things like extra dust, extra gold cards. I don't know if packs are in there anywhere, but maybe they are in one of the screenshots.
I think they just said gold cards and dust.
Yeah, gold cards and dust. So maybe you don't get gold, or and you don't get like packs or whatever. So that's just some of the rewards that you get. And obviously, the higher the rank you get, the more gold cards you'll receive. The lower you end the season with, well, all you get is just dust and obviously the guaranteed rank 20 card back.
I think I saw that it's the highest rank you reached during the season, not the rank you end at.
Yes.
Correct. So if I hit rank, I don't know, 9, and then I plummet back down to rank 15, well, I get the reward at rank 9, even though I ended up at 15.
That's really good, because I think, otherwise I think people they'd see themselves plateauing and like, okay, I'm going to stop or else I'm going to lose rewards.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think that's the problem they were trying to address. People would like play and then they're like, oh, I need to stop playing because I'm just going to lose rank if I keep playing. And having a mechanic that encourages you not to play is not great.
All I would ever do is hit 20 for the card back and stop, because I know I'm not very good. As displayed in the Tavern Brawls with me and Matt on YouTube.
But now you've got an added incentive to like go for rank 19 or something, or rank 18 or whichever.
Yeah.
Well, do the rewards start at 20 with a card back? Or
Yeah.
do you get like level 21, you get like a pack or a dust or something?
I think the rewards only start at level 20, since you can't lose any game between rank 25 to rank 20. And when you hit 19, 18, and so on and so forth, as you go up, you'll get gradually better rewards or more rewards. So I'm not exactly sure what the spread is, but combination of gold cards and actually I think it's just gold cards. I don't think they'll issue you normal cards.
Yeah, I think it's just gold cards and dust. That's the reward.
Sweet.
Maybe now you can get that one legendary you don't have gold in.
Yeah, exactly. That one, and the rest of the other decks too. So that's essentially it for the ranked rewards, and they also introduced a new card mechanic called Joust. It's not actually called Joust though, but I think they should
that's a little weird,
right?
Because it's like they spell out, instead of just saying Joust, they spell out exactly what it does and how it works on each card that has it.
Yeah, it's like battle cry. Reveal a minion in each deck. If if yours costs more, gain whatever. Right? You'd think it would just say Joust. Joust, gain, taunt, and divine shield, for example.
I think they don't do that because they do happen at different. Like some of them might have a battle cry joust, some of them have a death rattle joust.
There is the one. There is the one card with death rattle joust.
It's the skeleton knight where when he dies, you joust, and if you win it, he goes back in your hand instead of in the graveyard.
That's true. Yeah, I mean it just makes more sense because there's not a whole lot of real estate in the card description now for them to add.
But they could.
Other stuff.
They could do like battle cry joust and death rattle joust or something like that.
Granted, I don't play Hearthstone very much at all, but I was really confused how to figure out what cards actually had joust mechanics or what it actually was.
Well,
have we explained what it is yet?
We haven't, so I'll do that right now. Joust, battle cry, or whatever. If you when you play a card that has joust or the effect of joust, you basically both players pick a random minion, I want to say, out of their deck.
Yeah, it has to be a minion.
Yeah, it's a minion. So, and it's random. It's not the topmost minion or the bottommost minion, just any random minion in your deck right now, not in your hand. If the mana cost is greater than your opponent's, you win the joust. And then the effect occurs. If you don't win the joust, you don't get the bonus. Nothing really interesting happens. You just get the minion or whatever.
And the bonuses are just dependent on which card you have. Each card will spell out what kind of joust bonus it has.
Exactly. It's like the Master Jouster. If it wins a joust, it gains Taunt and Divine Shield, which is cool. If you have the Armored Warhorse...
Whoa.
Someone's got a phone call.
Phone call.
Oh man, is that our lunch?
Who is it?
Oh, that's me.
Awesome. Anyway, so the Armored Warhorse is a similar thing. If you win that joust, then the Armored Warhorse gains charge. So just like little effects like that, which is pretty neat.
And like the Skeleton Knight I mentioned, it's a new legendary. It's a 7/4 for how much mana?
6 mana.
7/4 for 6 mana. which that's not. I don't think that's great for 6 mana, but the effect is when it dies, you joust, and if you win the joust, he goes back into your hand instead of being destroyed. So if you keep winning the joust, you can keep playing him until you lose the joust.
Yeah, and it's got a good like upside to it in that it's reusable, potentially reusable like multiple times, even if it dies. It's just a threat that keeps on coming back and annoys your opponent.
Yeah.
6 mana, pretty cheap actually compared to what it does. 7 attack means that it's going to be vulnerable to big game hunter.
Well, isn't there a pirate card that's a 7/4 for 5 mana?
Yes, Captain.
Or is it the salty dog? Is that a thing? A salty dog? That sounds like bad food, not a card.
That's something at the Darkmoon Fair. It's fair food.
It could be a pirate. I mean, it's salty dog. It sounds like a pirate and a disgusting food.
There's
Salty Dog
a
is-
Salty Dog Cafe in Hilton Head.
No, there's an actual salty dog in the game though. It came out with the goblins versus gnomes. Just a
Okay.
standard 7/4. Doesn't do anything. So you're right.
Yeah. So it costs more mana for this skeleton knight, and if he doesn't win the joust, you've basically thrown away mana. But if he wins, he turns out better than the salty dog.
So I have a question that I haven't seen answered, but maybe someone here can answer it. So when you do a joust, you pull these 2 minions from your deck. What happens to the minions afterwards?
They go right back into your library.
Okay, so they
I
just
don't
go
know
right
if
back
it's
into your
shuffled.
deck.
Yeah, I don't know if the deck gets shuffled or anything like that.
But you don't get the card.
Yeah, you don't.
You don't-
No, you don't.
Well,
get it.
I was wondering if the card was destroyed or something like that, essentially.
Oh,
but-
that would suck.
I would
Yeah,
never
but
play
did-
one of those because
I
I'm playing
know,
a
that
paladin.
will suck.
I
Looking at the
joust.
video, it looks like it just goes right back into the little slot
Yeah.
on the side.
Yeah, it does look that way. I just was not sure.
Is there a video
Yeah.
of this? It's not.
There
There
On,
is
is,
a video.
It's not
There's
on
a
YouTube, is it?
tiny-
It's in the post.
Yes, it is.
it is.
It is in the post.
Why isn't it in
It
this
is-
playlist?
It was a small like 15 or 16-second clip that just kind
Yeah.
of demonstrated how joust worked. It wasn't.
It's not a trailer.
Not worth
It's
it,
not
no.
anything really.
And also, if you happen to tie against your opponent with joust, like if you guys both have a 5/5 or a 5 mana minion or whatever, you lose.
Because you didn't win.
You didn't win. Yeah, I had to think about that one for a second, but it kind of makes sense.
You only
So-
get the bonuses if you win. So if it's a draw, you don't win, and no bonuses. Yeah, it's more RNG.
You can sort of stack the deck though, literally by, putting more expensive cards in or more expensive minions in your deck to increase the odds of you winning a joust.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
but-
just watched it, and yeah, he plays Master Jouster. The person who plays the Jouster pulls Tyrion. They pull the Imani Berserker. Tyrion gets like a flower petal shower, and
Yeah.
both cards go back into the deck. So that's how it works.
Pretty much. Yeah, so that's
That could
joust.
be a good tactic though, because you can see your opponent their minion.
Yeah, you
right?
can see what they have in their
Yes.
deck.
Good. Yeah, it's good information, so you can find out if they're playing like a more aggro deck or a slower control deck. Yeah. But also, I think both players will know this though.
Yeah.
It shows cards
Yeah.
to both players.
That
I
seems like
have to wonder if, with that tactic of stacking your deck with high mana cards to win the joust, would that work against something like a zoo lock that's going to rush you down before you can play any of that?
Well, there's the trade-off. You can play joust. You can build a joust deck which relies heavily on more expensive minions, but it means that it might take you a little bit longer for your game plan to kick in because now you're trying to get your more expensive minions on the board, but you're also fending off the initial rush from your opponent, right? So
Yeah.
it's a bit of a trade-off here. And if I was playing something like Face Hunter or Zoo, I would just be like, "What's that? You jousted? I don't care. Attacking, throwing all my minions right in your face until
Right.
I lose or win." So, yeah.
it sounds like an interesting new mechanic, but it's not going to be like an auto win thing. I mean, you aren't just going to build a joust deck and it's like I win everything all the time.
Did Kerrigan get a one-arm shoulder guard in Heart of the Swarm? I'm watching the StarCraft Allied Commander thing, and she suddenly has armor on one shoulder.
I have no idea.
Somebody in chat,
think
tell me, is that
that's
a Heroes of the...
Why
Or
you keep asking about StarCraft? You know we love StarCraft, man.
I, honest to God, almost just said Heroes of the Swarm.
It's because Blizzard has so many games that are
Heart of the
Hot.
Storm.
HOTS.
HOTS. Yes, that's their favorite acronym.
Well, they just did a Tavern Brawl, Heart of the Sunwell.
Yes.
Bastards.
Speaking of Tavern Brawl,
Yeah, we still got a brawl today, Matt.
we do.
Do you have time to do that today?
I do.
Okay, do we have...
After this.
Have we Gamescom'd ourselves out?
I think we have Gamescom'd ourselves out. Hopefully, this exciting last minute experience has prepared us to do this again tomorrow
Yeah.
after the WoW announcement.
Which
Yep, we're gonna do it again
Saturday,
tomorrow.
Sunday.
9 a.m.
It's-
Pacific?
9 a.m. Pacific.
11 Central. I'll definitely be awake at 11 Central. If I'm not, permission to murder me. Feel free.
Then you won't be
murdering
awake
you
for
sounds
the
like a
rest
lot
of
of
it.
trouble.
Well, I'll just keep calling you incessantly until you wake up.
That's fine by me. But yeah, after the announcement, we don't... I mean, it could be a 10-minute long announcement. It could be an hour-long thing. We don't know. But in either case, after we're done writing our butts off, we're going to do another one of these. So
Yep.
maybe
It
we'll have the
sounds-
same people on here. Maybe we won't. I have no idea.
It sounded like they were going to go for a long announcement. I was reading that Chilton said today that it was going to be comparable with a BlizzCon announcement, and
Do
so
we know
I'm not
who's there?
sure. I do not.
Nope. Chilton is there.
Chilton?
We know that.
Well, yeah, he was on the stage today. So,
Right.
but they weren't they didn't say anything about WoW today. So that's all tomorrow, at a
Uh,
more reasonable hour.
Somebody in chat asked what the new expansion is. I'm going to play the trailer right now. leaked from Gamescom.
Yeah, it
You'll
got
see it
leaked.
first here.
You're so cruel, Alex.
I love it. Scott did a wonderful thing.
It's better than Alex, or not Alex, better than Adam, who kept, if you follow Adam on Twitter, he was leaking a whole bunch of, different alphas and beta screenshots from
Yeah,
games
it's
expansions.
just pasting alpha screenshots, and people are
Yeah.
like,
Did you see
Blizzard Watch is
Warcraft's
leaking
Twitter?
the expansion.
Yeah.
Oh, the number
Yeah.
generator?
Yep.
Yeah. And apparently on Reddit they were like, "What does it? Maybe it's a hex code, and it's a hex code for like the color aqua, and it's gonna be a Shara and an underwater thing, and all
He
this
also
stuff."
changed his background to like an undersea theme right before tweeting out something that if you Googled or something came up with like a mermaid, I don't know, people really, really read into it.
Yeah, it's
People
that
are real
time of year
mad.
when the hype is real. The hype is
I'm
so
almost,
real.
I'm almost disappointed. The fake rumors and reading into everything is actually really fun, and it's gonna stop tomorrow.
In chat it says Ian Hazzikostas is in there, and so is Alex, who I assume is a Frosty Obby, and not me, because I'm not in Germany.
Alex, you missed your flight.
Crap!
That's what the alarm was for.
Yeah. It's funny, because when I tell people my Skype name, I actually have to specify I'm not the one in Germany, because at the old place, I would have that problem where I would have to have Skype calls with people from Joystick, and they'd be like, "Are you the one in Wisconsin or the one in Germany?" I'm like, "Not Germany. I know nothing about Germany." Anyway,
Do we think Rexar has anything to do with the new expansion? Is that
Well,
last minute reading into?
he's in the current one.
Well,
Well,
but he could
a
be in the
bigger
next
role.
one too, because you know how much we love orcs.
Yeah. But
I
Rexar
enjoyed
is
the-
totally legit. He's only half orc.
So that could be bridging us into an all new world of.
Into an ogre expansion.
Ogre?
No, my bet is clearly it's going to be a troll expansion because we didn't get the obligatory troll dungeon, so we're going to have to make up for it.
Zula dungeon.
It's going to be an entire expansion of trolls.
But anyway, I think we're pretty much done here. So
Yeah.
we'll be back tomorrow to talk about the WoW stuff and anything else that happens to come out of Gamescom. I mean, Blizzard is doing stuff all weekend, so God knows.
Yeah, we may be back again on Friday after their next Heroes announcement.
WoW tomorrow, Heroes Friday, and I think more Overwatch on Saturday. Is that right?
Maybe I would have to double check the schedule. I just know that today they explicitly said we're doing another hero announce at the end of the week.
Okay. Well,
Yay.
There's all kinds of tournaments and all kinds of stuff to watch on their stream. as well for the whole weekend. Whole weekend.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, today's event was not streamed, but they'll be streaming on Twitch starting tomorrow.
Will all of their stuff be streamed?
I don't know.
I think the
Because
Heroes announcement will be.
Yeah.
Most-
well, I mean, is it like even the other events? Like they're doing a YouTuber show match for Heroes of the Storm. Like is that,
Maybe?
or are they doing those weird quizzes on the stream? I don't know.
We'll find out.
We'll find out. All right. Say goodbye, everybody.
Is there a leveling
Thanks
stream
for-
tomorrow, by the way?
Goodbye.
Is there a what?
A leveling stream.
Oh
question.
God.
Oh,
It's Thursday. How did this happen? Yes.
Probably,
Well.
yeah.
Probably. We could run it late if the WoW stuff takes forever.
Non-stop streaming tomorrow.
Thank you,
Yes.
Lucian. Is your name Luoshan? Lucian?
Lucien.
Lucian. Anyway, I feel bad for not knowing how to say your name, but thank you for buying my book. I appreciate that. Goodbye. Goodbye. Everybody say goodbye.
bye.
Bye.
See you tomorrow.